Okay, hi Marek, thank you very much for your time this afternoon. I really appreciate you spending a couple of minutes with me to talk over our ideas and where we stand as a practice.
You're welcome.
Okay, so first of all, first question I'm going to ask you is about our client audience, as in the main clients we currently target and also what we're kind of aiming to do in the future. So generally speaking, where do we sit right now in the market?
As ESA, we are a sort of private sector, commercially focused practice. We, I suppose, come from a background of commercial office and have worked very hard over the last 15, certainly getting towards 20 years in sort of really sort of spreading those sector bases out. So now we're sort of active in a range of sectors. So office is still there in a strong form, but also retail, mixed use, leisure,
Going into hotels as well.
hotels, leisure. So
We've got
really
a broad
working
range.
sort of like the obvious one of not having our eggs all in one basket.
Yeah, completely. And that the new kind of target areas we're trying to work towards, especially are the likes of the hotels.
Hotels is one that we again we've worked pretty hard at trying to get in and getting a track record in the last sort of 5 years. In the summer we'll have 3 opening, which will then obviously give you that built form to give future clients the confidence that you can not only design them and get planning, but that you can deliver something. So actually having that physical thing there is very important, and the ability to take clients and future clients to those spaces and show them what you've done, the quality of the product, speaks volumes. I think the other, one of the sort of bigger pushes in what we're doing is sort of large-scale mixed-use schemes based around residential, sort of commercial and public spaces, master planning. We're seeing a lot of those certainly at the design stage, and it's a real sort of step change for us in the scale of project that we're doing. And we've successfully taken a few of those through planning now. So Durham, the Gates is a very good example of that. World Heritage Centre. Very sort of tricky planning process to go through, but we got it right. We unlocked it, and now we can deliver that scheme. Now we're seeing other ones in sort of in the outlying areas of London. Again, it's proving that you can just do more than design these things. That you can deliver them as well.
So do you think these kind of projects that we are testing out for the first time, they are going to lead on to further work? So like I say, you've got the portfolio of hotels, we have Durham behind us. Those kind of projects will lead on to further sectors.
Large scale residential, and by that I mean sort of 100 units plus 100, 200, 300, 400. Schemes like Croydon that have gone into planning tall buildings, that sort of thing. It's a whole step change in this. Really, that sort of scale, both I suppose physically in terms of the massive bulk of the buildings that we're looking at, but also in the numbers that are being delivered.
Okay.
And it's getting those clients to have faith in you that you can actually deliver these things without the previous track record. So.
Okay, and in terms of kind of like promotional material, what are the kind of current methods we are using? Obviously, we have a very strong client base who know the work we do within the kind of commercial sector, especially like the offices. They keep coming back to us. But for those clients who are fairly new to using our services, and also for those clients that would be coming in or kind of we want to advertise to, what's the current strategy for promoting our services and pushing it out into the market?
It's a good question. I mean, one that we've been asking ourselves was seriously recently. We've been very busy, and that's a good thing. But we've got to look up and see where the new work is coming from. A huge amount of our work is repeat business. So again, our clients will move up in scale and different types of projects and take us with them, along with a lot of the teams that we're working with, because again, they have confidence that we can deliver. So we'll move en masse, as it were, into different projects. So repeat business is hugely important to us. So in one way, delivering projects well, having a philosophy and a strategy of director involvement all the way through the projects has worked very well for us, and is still massively important. I think for attracting new clients, we've been looking at the obvious one of our website and rebranding that. We've taken on a new suppose business manager, bid manager,
Yeah.
looking at a whole raft of sort of thing from old school hard copy fold outs,
Yeah.
showing people that you can take around with you, just to give a sort of flash of what of the work we do and the sectors we work in. Old school stuff, mail shots, chatting about social media. Certainly not necessarily one for me, but for people coming through the practice. And I know a lot of other practices are finding that a lot of their work is coming that way. And also getting, we talked about it before, getting our client base is to understand what other things we do, the sectors that we do, that we don't just work in the areas that they work. So not just offices, but we do residential, we do retail. So I think getting that message across is important to us, and it's one that you'd think was pretty obvious and easy, but actually I think not just us, people struggle at that, sort of people become quite siloed
within the market completely. Have we got like a direct way? I know I've seen a couple of pull-outs, like the kind of A5 little pull-outs that we kind of show the sectors we work across, and I'm sure the new website will advertise that. Yeah,
it's picking out, we have general ones which will, we try and evenly spread through that fold-out document, the different sectors that we work on, but also justice, for example, is a key one at the moment, where we know from the government that they are targeting, I think, 5 new prisons in the year before 2020 or something.
Yeah.
Challenging like that. So there's particular material that's been produced very much around that. So because it's going to a very particular set of clients, contractors, and government officials, so it specifically targets that and shows up our track record in depth in those sort of areas. So from the general, and when there's a particular bid, we'll target that sector completely and pull it out. Do you find, being now part of the Capita Group, we obviously operate as ESA, as our own kind of brand in the commercial sector, so we're almost like the commercial arm of Capita. Have you found that having that kind of big name behind us does allow us to kind of push on and push into more sectors, and has it brought us new clients as well? The extra service of the kind of other departments. Yes, it's there to be used and deployed when it's appropriate. I think the ESA brand and the private sector brand that it is appropriate, and some of our clients really don't want the bigger corporate feel. I'm sure they like all the safety that gives you, a FTSE 100 company in terms of its finances and the fact that it will be around and its insurances and all that sort of thing. It's great for them, but sometimes I suspect they worry about the personal touch within that. I think with the bigger Capita picture, there is the multi-D, as you sort of said, offer there. Joining up with the vast array of things, products, services that we offer, and again, it's deploying those. But it's again, and things like the away day yesterday. It's important to go and meet your peers and understand what they're doing, and just have a chat about what things mesh well and where opportunities lie.
Completely. So throughout history, Capita Simons, especially within the construction division, it used to be, from what I understand, a lot more integrated, whereas now we've got a position where Capita are taking over small businesses that are very good at what they do, and we're operating a bit separate at the moment. Do you think in the future, when everything's settled, there will be a bit more integration between them? So like the likes of engineering just being taken on board within our
the business is looking at what businesses within the business work well together. So the merging of architecture and engineering into a single business unit is a sensible thing to do, because the opportunities are there, your clients are there, and hopefully you can sort of cross-fertilise each other's work. Equally, you can do it separately. I've no doubt that will carry on, and certainly some of the restructuring that's taken place very recently has looked at these complementary skill sets of businesses and how can they work better. And how can the offer be improved to the client. Capita is very much an acquisition-based company, so we always take those opportunities and fill holes where it's got it. And it has the finances to do that. I think one of the things that's changed since we were acquired is the fact that the companies are used better rather than dare I say, run into the ground. You buy practices for their client base and their people and the skills. So there's no point in losing all of that.
No, completely.
It's
quite an interesting balance as well, in the sense that we almost have two kind of, it's like a two-pronged attack. We advertise ourselves as ESA, and in other situations for like big bids or what have you, we kind of tend to go with the capita kind of
I think
brand.
If it's a public sector thing, then the capita brand is strong. It absolutely is. So things like justice and defence, again, there's a track record there. Things like the Foreign Office work that we've just done, or North Wales Prison, the capita could deliver that. That's from systems, scale, technology, size of teams. ESA within it, as I say, the brand has stayed for 4 or 5 years because it has value. Else it wouldn't be here.
And I mean, in terms of our competitors in the market, obviously, again, the capita as a holistic approach probably has very different competitors to the brand of ESA. I mean, who do you think? I mean, when we are moving forward, what companies can we take precedent from? Are there any in particular that we've kind of had a look at through our website, maybe, or through any kind of promotional material? Are there ones we're trying to aim towards?
We have had strategy days and that, and one interesting one was get the directors each to write down who they think their 5 competitors would be, and equally who they admire, I guess. And you will get 5 sort of different answers. I'll look at the Squires, the AHMM, Gesticos, those sort of practices. I think they are good. They deliver good commercial architecture. As you say, the capital thing is on a different scale again, and you're probably looking at sort of ACOMs and that sort of thing.
Your kind of Atkins and your ARCT associates and what have you.
Exactly. So you've got those 2 different types of businesses. I mean, certainly in terms of what we wanted the website to look at, there was a particular type of practice certainly that we looked at to see what they were doing, and then they were more of the scale of, I suppose, the ESA, the mid, 65 strong practice, good breadth of work, design, commercial architecture, design led.
Okay. And I mean, in terms of new services going forward, is there anything that stand out that we kind of really want to target, as in delivering something more that can guarantee us work, that will win us work, it's something that the clients want, whether it be 3D modelling, BIM, or what have you? Is there anything that really stands out that you think we can really need to work towards? I know that the office is kind of slowly transforming into Revit.
I do think there's a huge sort of scope to make clients aware of the other things that we do. So that we can deliver the interior of an office equally as much as the outside of an office. I'd say we're seeing a lot more mixed-use schemes. So we've got good track record across retail, commercial, residential, sort of bringing those together. And I think a lot of our clients are really realising that. PRS has been talked about hugely at the moment. Everything you go to, it's sort of talking about that. That's something I think that we need to be pushing. And again, we can draw upon Capita and the real estate offer there. They're various links that should, no doubt, we should be exploiting more property. The fact we have a property arm, is a very good fit with us. And should be bringing more opportunities. Here's a building that our clients might want or like, and we can take it forward, we can deliver it. So that there's a lot of taking what we've got and making people aware of what we do, the breadth and the depth of work that we do.
Completely. So that kind of like holistic message where a client can come to us for different kinds of services.
I think it's just making them aware. And I say some people are very light touch. They don't want everything, and they have their teams that they've built, and they just want a bit of that. There are other people who actually might find the whole multi-D thing very, very attractive. And again, it's sort of making people aware of sort of the much wider breadth of projects that we do, and the fact that we do them well. And the fact that we are, still, at the base of it, that we are people who want to interact with those guys, and will keep the project alive all the way through.
Completely.
So I think that's important. I think new technology It's interesting because in one way the BIM side stuff's been very much pushed by the government framework stuff, because you know, they've sort of demanded that. The private sector's actually been pretty slow to catch up with it. We're actually offering it more for us.
Yes.
Again, the scale of the project is making it easier for us to sort of design and change these schemes quite fluidly. And then those opportunities, what comes out of that, the collateral, the more bang for your buck can be passed on to the client. But it's interesting in the private sector, they're still not driving that. They're not asking for it. Some of the contractors are waking up to it. Yeah.
I mean, in terms of kind of technology as well, would you say concepts of, like, obviously for us, renders and kind of final images are key for the idea of kind of creating this? A lot of clients don't really appreciate what an architect does until the building's actually built, and then selling that service is quite difficult. I mean, for us, we're very good at producing our own in-house images. We've done animations in the past. I mean, there's been discussion about laser modelling and kind of.
Yeah, I think you've got the two halves. I guess you've got that initial sort of presentation side, the concept side, and we've always been very good at pushing our technology pretty hard to. As I say, get a lot of bang for our buck out of the stuff we put into the computer in terms of that we will get our visualization, we'll be able to test schemes, we'll be able to rapid prototype, all those sort of things. We'll get good looking images that people can understand at the end of it.
Yeah.
And then use that to generate the tender packages.
Yes.
And that's something that that workflow needs can still become much more streamlined, but sort of using technology that way has always been important to us, and something that we'll continue to do. I think mobile technology is it's going to be hugely important. I mean, stuff like the virtual reality, being able to sort of put a headset on it's something that was 10 years ago, was a very clunky sort of pretty rubbish sort of experience. Now it's becoming quite slick and becoming quite affordable, and it's something we need to be exploiting more. But even the iPad moving around the site, the 3D sort of visuals when you're stood on the site, you can move it around. That stuff's important. It's getting people to buy into it as well from a finance perspective. They aren't just toys. They're not just nice to have. They're something that really help you deliver your project.
Yeah.
And get it over and give you an edge over your competitors, and needs to be embraced, I think.
Completely. And I think in terms of the message, do we have a strategy for really, really pushing that kind of broad scope? Is there anything that we are specifically targeting that kind of sells that idea of all of these sectors that we do cover? Is there anything that's kind of going to be coming into play anytime soon, or is it something we really need to kind of be creative about and work towards?
I think in terms of representing ourselves both as Capita and ESA, that's ongoing, and there are launches of websites of both companies, or both parts of first quarter of this year, and actually looking at what websites do and how work's generated through them, and the sort of the branches off has all been looked at in quite a lot of detail. I think that will be that is the shop window.
Yeah.
And it's important to clients, but accessibility, speed of access, are all the key sort of thing. I think we're talking about it's quality, not quantity on these things. They're visually driven. We have a huge amount of content that we generate just by testing out our schemes and projects. But you've got to be pretty selective about that of what you use to sell your practice. So that's certainly been looked at. I mean, there are other things, say some more traditional methods, mail shots, hard copy documents, being deployed at the right time in the right place.
Yeah.
And technology is it's an important thing to use. I think as I said, I still think it can be difficult from the financial aspect of it to justify some of these
getting
things.
Backing for it, etc. from the business side.
Putting a business case together, in the corporate world of where every penny's looked at very carefully. But we need. It's just a convincing job that we need to do with those guys to sort of deliver that and support us in it. And I think again there has been a change within Capita about that. So there are some developments this year that will come out in terms of supporting those.
I mean, even though currently we are very busy, and we are kind of retaining a lot of clients. Naturally, I'm sure you'll agree, the market, the industry, well, construction industry, I think architects as well, are kind of suffering a bit in the sense that there is work out there, but it's this case of expanding and making sure. A lot of our services have been taken from the likes of the quantity surveyors, the kind of project map PMs and stuff. In terms of services, for example, CDM, is that something you think would be quite important to offer clients, a new service that we could take on and really kind of push? Are we looking to do that, or is that part of the strategy?
If we're honest about it, the architects have given up a lot of things.
Yeah.
But if we're honest about it, it's because we didn't want to do them.
Mm-hmm.
That's my view.
Yeah.
So things like PM, it takes a certain type of character. A lot of architects don't enjoy that. We set up a project management business that was run by architects to push the design side, value of design in a project. And that was a very specific thing that we did, and we tried to take, we did successfully take it back. But it was run by architects that had a very genuine interest in project management. But I'd say, that was like the exception proves the rule in some cases. CDM again, it's something that we offer, and the whole principal designer thing is an interesting one, and that's. Again, trying to push it back onto the architect to take that role, and there's a resistance there. This has been why the original CDM role came about. But again, one of the, I suppose, the good thing about the capital stuff is you can offer those services, and you can pull them out, and we have done that. So things like principal designers, we've sat down with the CDM, the health and safety traditional, well, how can we offer that? So we do it. So we offer it as a practice, but we don't do it as people.
So it's passed through to the.
It's done from a separate, and that seems to be pretty successful.
It seems like a nice window that architects could walk through and grab this kind of opportunity of kind of gaining more fees and kind of having that side. Even though it is admin based, I think with the backing of Capita, it seems like we've kind of got the services to deal with that quite easily.
Yeah, I think architects do have to be careful. Contractors are the guys who will grab and lead these things. And pull people over. You can see that in terms of they are taking it, and certainly in the site-based cycle of the building, they'll take over the principal designer role. They are pushing BIM, they are pushing technology. They are pulling architects in house, as it were. Interesting, one of the design directors here went to contractors to become their sort of BIM design manager.
Okay.
So, contractors are aware of this and pushing it. So should we. So it needs to be things that we want to do ultimately. There is a case that you do what you do very well.
Yeah. And it's not spreading things too thinly in the sense that we kind of keep our core.
We've always built a lot of what we've designed and taken to planning, and that sort of understanding. I think that's an important thing for the design guys to understand how things go together on site, and the guys who do more site-based stuff to understand what the process was to get to it, and to deliver a building that isn't sort of getting too hard.
Yes, completely. And I think, as in summary, our position in the market now. Do you think we are kind of in a strong position to kind of move forward and keep doing well, or do you think there are things that do need to change to make sure we kind of
you've got to
keep up with competitors?
I think you've constantly got to change. How can I put it? You've got to move on. You've got to look at the type of work you're doing. It's got to be interesting work. It's got to be fun. All those things we've got to want to do it. I say certainly the sort of scale of the project, projects that we're looking at has changed. But equally with that, you need to be careful because the timescales change a lot. They take a long time to come about. So if you can deliver some project very in a relatively short period of time, these schemes, if you're talking 2 years for planning, that's it, and then it doesn't get built, that's quite a difficult one to manage. I think the economics of this year will be interesting.
I imagine
is there as much confidence as there was last year? A group of interesting guys this morning were saying neutral, I'd go on it.
Okay.
There are a few. Last year we had the general election and nobody knew what was going to happen there. I think this year we've got like Brexit or whatever it is. and the Chinese market and oil and all those sort of things. So they're having an impact. Nobody really knows where those leads. I mean, ultimately we're consultants, so we've got to be aware of those things. I think people were caught out big time.
Yeah.
In the credit crunch 2008.
Yes, completely.
Of course, people will say it will never happen again. But
never say never.
You do worry. I think you've got to be keeping an eye. You've got to be very, very careful about the work that's coming forward, and not necessarily overstretch yourself.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for your time, Marek. I really appreciate you giving me a helping hand there and kind of explaining our kind of strategies and our future goals and aims. And it all sounds positive, and it's going to take a lot of hard work to get there, but I'm sure we will. So, thank you very much.